So this is the Galaxy Note 9 camera UI. So we're live and you can see exactly what you would if you're using this phone right now, or if you wanted to buy one. So as with other Samsung Galaxy Note lines and also the Galaxy S line phones, the camera UI is extremely comprehensive and stuffed with loads and loads of features. Some useful, some not so useful, but it's nice that they have those there anyway. So moving over to the left hand side of the screen first, we can see this carousel view here. We've got a bunch of options and we're currently in auto mode. So if we move down, we've got the live focus option. Now this is kind of a portrait mode, and you can see here we've got this line here which allows us to alter the amount of blur on our subject. So luckily we've got a bush next to us and we can just demonstrate that and show how it works. So you do find that the crop is very, very heavy, and you have to kind of adjust your view just slightly. So that is, you can see there, live focus ready. If we just move, and that completely changes the intensity of the blur. Now that's great for smaller objects, but you can see it's quite tricky to get the right kind of shot. So if you kind of just dial it back to around about halfway, and that's still too aggressive. I'm never a huge fan of these. I mean, the Pixel line do it so right. So we'll just take a photo of that, and that will be included in the gallery later on. This option here at the top, that adjusts for skin tone. If you press that, and you can adjust for skin tones if you're taking pictures of real human people. But I tend to find that this varies, and it's not a brilliant feature in my opinion. So they've got the Pro mode. So with this, you can change pretty much every aspect of the picture. So you've got the white balance option here. You've then got manual or autofocus. You can move the slider here between macro and telephoto, and just click again, and that will go to auto. You've then got a number of options here for picture tones. You've got standard, we've got this breezy option, vivid, nostalgic, soft, serene, and we've got tone 1 and tone 2, which is basically user customizable, which is great. So then we've got the f-stop. So this obviously allows you to compensate for darker or lighter scenes. And then we've got the ISO mode, which goes all the way down to 50 and goes all the way up to 800, we can see there. So not quite as high as some phones do, but still very usable in most situations. So then we've got Panorama. So for the sake of the test, we will do one of these now. So starting here, I'll do my best to get the best panorama I can. So great thing is this goes left to right. If you watch my OnePlus 6 video, you kind of have to move the phone into portrait mode, which is quite awkward. You can still do that with this one, but this allows you the option both ways. So we're going to start here and see if we can do the best panorama that we can. So here we go. Now, when you do panoramas in this mode, you do get quite a big panorama. So just move gently, make sure we keep the white box within the black lines. Do my best to keep everything steady here and not be blinded by the sun. And we're nearly done. And move down slightly. There we go. And that's just processing in the background. And here is our finished panorama. Every image you see in the video I will include later on in the gallery. Okay, so that's the bottom there. So if we go up further here, we got super slow motion. So if we go into the settings, we can see the slow-mo here. We've got super slow-mo, can be done in a single take or catch multiple moments in super slow motion while recording a video. And then we've got AR emoji. So then we've got the Hyperlapse option. And as you can imagine, this is, as it says, this is a time-lapse option. I thoroughly recommend using a tripod for any time-lapse. You get a very still image and allows you to capture things much easier than if you could do it handheld. So that is all of the options that are available just on the left-hand side here. So moving over to the right. So starting at the top here, we've got the 2x zoom option. So this makes use of that secondary lens, as I said at the start of the video. And again, you don't get any loss in resolution. The optical image stabilization does quite a good job of keeping everything steady. So we'll just take a picture of that house there. That used to be an old sweet shop many years ago. So I'll zoom back out. So at the bottom here, We've got the Bixby Vision. We've all got things to say about Bixby. Now this scene selection in the middle here, now Samsung doesn't call this AI, it's called scene optimization. I'll show you that further on when we go into the menus in a few moments. So moving on to the just to the right of those options, we've got the selfie switch, high. We've then got this option here, which is a number of different scene modes. So we've got evergreen, nostalgia, maple, memory, classic, grayscale, cookie cream, and deep. So yeah, okay, that's cool. Nice to have these options available, even though I may not particularly use them myself. So we've got the flash, so auto flash turned on, flash always on, or flash off. We've got this option here, we've got full view, so you can see a full view of what you're framing. So obviously everything falls right behind here rather than being stuck behind the black masking, as we can see here. I do prefer to put everything here with this black thing on it. I just find that a lot easier to do. Call me a purist, but that's it. So then we've got the settings at the bottom, which I'll go into in a moment. Up here on the top right hand side, we've got our gallery option. So with the shutter button, what you can also do, you can push and hold that, and that takes a unlimited rapid burst of images. And what happens then is that these are arranged into a neat stack. When you look in the gallery, you can see it's just taken 94 photos. Great for fast moving images. So if you've got somebody on a skateboard, for example, then you can just keep pressing the shutter button. You get a really good selection of images which you can pick from later on. Then we've got the record button, which is for video. So you'll notice there's no actual video modes. It just has everything on the one app. Now, one thing you can do, if you just look to the top and bottom of the shutter button, you've got two vertical lines where they would be horizontal if you're using it in portrait mode. If you do that, you will actually activate the manual zoom option, which is pretty cool. So that goes all the way up to 10 times zoom. Now this is obviously digital zoom, so you are introducing noise and a lot of crop there, but up to ×2 it is optical zoom essentially. You can just see the step over there if you just watch. So starting from the top, so you've got the rear camera controls. So we've got the picture size options. So we've got 4:3, which is 12 megapixels, and then we can see going through all of these menus that it's a huge amount of options available to basically fill your boots to your heart's content. So you can see we've got these 16:9 modes, which is 9.1 megapixel, 16:9 at 3.7, and we've got 18:5:9, which fills up the entire frame with a slight crop. And then we've got these 1:1 images, which are great for Instagram or other social sharing. At the bottom of the screen here, we've got save RAW and JPEG files. So basically the phone captures a JPEG and also a RAW shot, so you can use a photo editing app later on, should you so wish. So move up there, we've got the video size option. So we've got obviously the one we've selected, which is the last of the video tests, which is UHD at 60 frames per second, 3840 by 2160. Then you've then got the UHD 3840 by 2160 at 30 frames per second, the QHD option which we showed you earlier, Full HD at 60 FPS, Full HD at 30 FPS, 18:5:9, 1:1 for social sharing, and then finally the option probably nobody would use, 1:80:720. We've got this option here for high efficiency video, which records videos in HEVC format to save space. But you may not be able to play HEVC videos on other devices or share them online. This doesn't affect slow motion videos. So basically, if you are using the HEVC option, just be careful because that isn't recognized by many of the popular video editing applications. Now, it may be recognized by things like Final Cut Pro, but while trying to use Adobe Premiere Elements, it didn't recognize it at all, and I had to spend time converting them into an MP4 or H.264 format. So just bear that in mind. And then at the bottom of the screen here, it does tell us UHD 60 FPS, UHD, QHD and Full HD 60 FPS don't support tracking, autofocus and video effects, and video stabilization isn't available in UHD 60 FPS or 1:1 resolution. So there we are. So they've got the scene optimizer. So this is basically Samsung's version of AI, and you can switch that on and off. I do find that the scene optimizer is quite good actually. I don't think it's as aggressive as what Huawei do with their P20 and P20 Pro amongst other phones, but it's nice to have it, and again it's quite subtle and quite sympathetic with the image as well, so it's a good addition, and I just tend to find it's great to just leave that on. We've then got the timer, so off to 5 or 10 seconds, and then you can obviously take 3 shots, take 3 pictures in a row after the timer reaches 0. only the Auto, Pro and Selfie camera modes support this function. So that is quite handy. You always get someone who's forgotten to smile or has moved to tie up a shoelace or something, so that's handy to have. We've then got the HDR Rich Tone option, which is auto on or off. Tend to find just leave that in auto and let the camera processing and the processor in the phone do the rest. Then got tracking autofocus, so focus on and track a subject selected on the preview screen. Super slow-mo, we've seen this previously, got multi-take or single take. And then we've got the front camera options, so we've got picture size here, got all the different options which you can see on the screen there. That is basically all that's available. So we're currently in the highest resolution, which is 4:3, 8 megapixels, or you can step it down to fill up the entire frame and drop down the resolution to 6 megapixels. I tend to find any of those top 3 modes there actually really good for taking selfies, so I wouldn't worry too much if you're going to select one of the other options. So you've got video size, so this tops out at 2560 by 1440, so it's QHD. Then got full HD, which is at 30 frames per second, 18 by 5 by 9, 1 by 1, and then HD. They've got high efficiency videos available again, and it says here video stabilization isn't available in QHD and 1:1 resolutions, as well as video effects. So again, I would imagine Samsung may fix that in a future firmware update, but for now those options aren't available. So the scene optimizer is available in selfie mode as well as the timer and the autofocus as well. So moving further down, we have a HDR option. So as I said in the video tests, now it does support HDR recording, but when you upload these to YouTube, it doesn't often show you in HDR format. So you can get third-party apps which do allow you to do that. I think one of them is called Zero Cam, but it does mean you need to root your device to use it. And then you've got save pictures as previewed. So save all pictures you take as shown in the preview, not as flipped images. So this is great as the selfie image, because that means that you're not getting a mirror image or a reversed image of what you're seeing. Sometimes you can get an image which doesn't quite look like yours because it's been reversed. So that option there does allow you to toggle that. So then show your palm to the camera to automatically take a picture. Face shape correction corrects the shape of faces that appear distorted. And then we've got your availability to edit the camera mode, so that allows you to actually adjust the actual order of how we saw that carousel menu on the left hand side earlier, and also you can do the same for the front camera. We've got flaw detection, get notified when someone blinks or looks blurry in pictures. You'll also be notified if there's smudges on the camera lens. Motion photo, record a short video clip of what happens before each picture is taken. So that's great for capturing impromptu moments. For example, your dog may have done something funny before you actually take a snap of them. And again, because we're in the 1440 mode, the video stabilization is actually switched off, as well as because we're in 4K 60. Just lost our way there. So we've then got the grid lines, which I like to use because it helps you to get a good straight on your horizon line. Location tags, which obviously speaks for itself. Review pictures immediately after you take them. That is quite annoying, so I tend to leave that off. Quick launch the camera by quickly pressing the power key twice. It's been a Samsung staple as well as other phones for a long time, and it's very, very handy. They've got voice control. This has been around since time ago. The Galaxy S3, I recall. You can take pictures by saying smile, cheese, capture, or shoot, or recording videos by saying record video. Tend to leave that off. It's quite a cheesy thing, so I don't tend to use it. You can add an extra camera button you can move anywhere on the screen, so that would be over the main UI. And hold the camera button to take a burst shot, or you can create a GIF or just take a picture. Press volume key to take pictures, record video, zoom, or system volume. Then got reset settings, contact us, and then you've got information about the camera, which is cool. So as you can see, a hugely comprehensive menu of features there with this phone. You would expect it at this price point, but it's great that you've got all of that control and all of those options, even though you may not use them. So let's go and take a stroll, and we will show you exactly how the camera operates in real life conditions. So luckily we've got some plantation here, and I can show you how quickly the focus works. Now the good thing is with this camera, you can get pretty close to most objects. So let's just go to these flowers here. So we can see the focus does work really quickly. You can get really close. I mean, so here's my hand, and there is the plant. So you can see just how close we can get. and get focus lock there. So we'll just take a picture of that. And again, if we just move back slightly, we've got the ×2 zoom. And again, I mean, the focus is so quick. It's incredibly good. And we'll just move back to ×1. So just check for saturation now. So we've got a nice green leaf here. So to me, that leaf looks a lot brighter. But obviously we've got this scene mode. You can see the leaf, which is just here. And that's obviously adding some saturation. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with that image. Great for social sharing as well. If you wanted to use the Pro mode, you can do. And that allows you full control over the actual image instead. So just go back to auto. You can see we've got some silk here, which has been brought by an itsy witsy spider earlier. So with things that small, it does have a little bit of trouble focusing on that. So we can go into the Pro mode, and we can use the manual focus to then, and you can see these green parts of the image here. That means that that part of the image is in focus. So that is quite handy. It's quite difficult to make out this silk that's been made by a spider. So there we go. That is now in focus. Whoop. So we just use the focus slider again. So we can see it. So you can just see there's the spider web. Click, and it just makes things so much easier. You see this on Panasonic cameras. The GH5, for example, uses this. It's a very handy feature, and one which is also quite handy on this as well. So one thing I like to do with any phone that I get is just to point it at something and just see how it captures the scene. So we're just going to point it at the sky. Got some nice fluffy clouds there, and just push, and again that'll be in the gallery at the end, but you can see there, it's just a good photo every time. I think it looks great. It really does. And that tree there as well. So again, you know, this scene. So again, the scene rendition is just so capable. It really is. And you're probably going to say, well, I should hope so for nearly £1,000. You'd be right. I agree with you. But once more, I mean, it's just great. So we can get a picture of the sun there. And again, it just does such great shots, so capable. So looking at these subjects here, I mean, just look how close you can get. And the detail that this phone can really get out of that image. I mean, look at the focus. Always looking, you get this really lovely natural bokeh behind the image. It just completely renders the live focus a little bit useless. Just goes to live focus now. So, see, I just think it's just a bit messy. There we go. So live focus ready. So that seems to be okay there, but you've really got to keep the phone still to be able to get the best image. I personally think that this, just using it in auto mode, just so much better. And again, with these parts here, I mean, you can see the focus there. I mean, this is so great. That's the end of the Galaxy Note 9 in-depth camera test. At the end of the video now, you're going to see a gallery of a selection of images that I've taken with the Galaxy Note 9, both in daylight and also in low light. I'll also include in the Panorama that I took a picture of earlier. If you've got any questions about anything that you've seen in this video, then please let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, or you can leave a dislike if you didn't enjoy it, but please do let me know why, to help me improve for future videos. So for now, that's my Galaxy Note 9 in-depth camera test. Thanks very much for watching, guys. My name's Mr. West, and I'll catch you guys later.
Who's behind the mask?